So now the judge did this to little Woody, where he said, I'm going to hold you in contempt. I'm going to throw you in jail. This judge likes to throw people in jail.
Yes.
Now he's doing it to
Steele.
Who's Steele, though?
Steele is the attorney of Young Thug.
So, can you just throw attorneys in jail? All right, we're going to get started today. Today we are going to talk about the Young Thug trial because it's insane. So, Dallin, let's start watching it. Let's go through this thing.
Until the end of this trial, Ms. Hilton supposedly said actually all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Let's stop right there. And I want Therese, I want you to go over a little bit about what's happening.
Okay. I watched from the beginning of the video before this part of the clip, and I think they started with the attorney Steele, the attorney of Young Thug, making a motion to retrieve the records of the alleged ex parte communications between.
Stop. What is ex parte? Because people watching this are like, okay, you're start throwing out terms. So
tell me.
What does ex parte mean? Well, okay. Ex parte means that there was one of the sides was not represented in a meeting, which is when you have a trial going on is kind of a serious problem because if somebody's not represented, there's serious issues that could be going on. So ex parte means you had
just
a meeting
one party
with one side. And we have ex parte, they're allowed under certain situations. But, okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify, it is not totally invalid or it's not totally prohibited. But there are some instances. There are only some instances where it is allowed. That's what he's trying to say. Because for Georgia laws, I was looking it up, and it's very strict. It's one of the most strict states among all the states because they really don't want ex parte communications. So here in this case, the attorney is alleging that there was an ex parte communication few days before the hearing when prosecutors, the witness, which is Copeland, the star witness of the prosecutor, and some other parties were in the judge's chamber, and allegedly the judge threatened, I think.
He threatened contempt
To the witness to force him to testify against Young Thug.
Yes.
But
so let's go over that part because I think that's what's getting everybody. People don't realize that you can be forced to testify.
You can be forced. Yeah, there are instances that you can be forced. Generally, you can't be forced to testify.
So what are the situations like? So in this situation, kind of what's going on in the situation where does this is Copeland the witness?
Yeah.
Does he have to testify?
Little Woody.
Little Woody.
That's his name. Little Woody.
Wow. No wonder when he looked right at Young Thug and he went in there and was like, I'm pleading the fifth. It's like, I'm not participating in this. That's a Young Thug over there.
It's so weird. If you guys saw how he started with when testifying, he said his name and he was asked how old he was, and he said, I'm grown. And then by grown, you mean like what number of years have you know? And he's like, I plead the fifth.
I'm a little Woody.
What?
I have. It is very strange, kind of the whole situation, but it is also very comical. But as attorney, it gets my blood boiling to watch what happened to this attorney. But we're not going to get to that part right now. So he says, "I'm going to hold you, little Woody, in contempt
if you don't testify."
And not only that, he went like in way detail how long it could be allegedly.
Yes. Okay, these are just the allegations of Steele, because we don't really have the records of what actual communications were had during that time.
And Steele really isn't necessarily alleging it. He's just saying, I heard someone say this.
Yes.
Or someone heard this allegedly.
I was informed that this happened.
Okay.
And I had no notice of it. Not a single party of the defense had notice.
Well, because that's the other thing that's really confusing about this is most people, there's a prosecutor and one person's being charged.
Yes.
But not this case because it's a RICO action. There
Yes.
are how many? I think
29 or
something.
more or even more. It's a racketeering, right?
Yeah, so this isn't just one party. This is a whole group of people that are being charged in this crime, and none of the defense attorneys were involved.
Yeah.
It was just
none of them
so
were informed at all of the alleged ex parte. It's not even alleged. It's the prosecutor admitted that there was a communication.
and the judge did too.
And the judge did too. Well, he didn't say yes, there was a communication, but he did say, "Where did you hear that?"
Yeah.
That it happened in my chambers. Yeah. So there's no way you could have known unless he said, I already have an idea where you found where you heard of it, but I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
To confirm it.
Yeah, so let's finish watching out the rest of the video so we can get the whole context.
How did you come upon this information? Who told you? What I want to know is why wasn't I there? Why, sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who. Tell me who this information is. I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. Attorney-client privilege, unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out. I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me who it is, if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you in contempt because that is not attorney-client privilege. Attorney work product privilege. I am not. How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you? I'm not. You should have told me. You got 5 minutes. Well, I don't need it. I want to continue. This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland made statements that he admitted to killing Donovan Thomas. Don't take my notes. No.
The deputy tried to take his notes? This is literally a TV show. He said Copeland admitted to killing Donovan Thomas.
That's a bunch of crazy things that are going on at the same time. So, okay, so now the judge did this to little Woody where he said, I'm going to hold you in contempt. I'm going to throw you in jail. This judge likes to throw people in jail.
Yes.
Now he's doing it to
Steele.
Who's Steele, though?
Steele is the attorney of Young Thug.
So, can you just throw attorneys in jail?
Well, you can. You can hold them in contempt for certain reasons. You can hold them in contempt civilly, criminally, directly, indirectly.
Yeah,
there are different ways. There are different reasons to hold them in contempt.
Shout out to one of my friend attorneys. He got held in contempt for civil reasons. Greg, I'm looking at you, buddy. He calls me up. Can you believe I got held in contempt for this? And I was like,
civil? He had to pay?
Yeah, he had to pay a bunch of money because it was really a dumb reason. He did have a valid point, but if anybody's going to be held in contempt, it's going to be Greg. You just have to know his personality. So we have this all laid out in the situation where the judge is clearly going off the rails here. What was the most shocking thing when you watched that the first time? Like, what hit you the most was like, what is going on here?
Actually, for me, is his first question is, where did you hear that?
Yeah, because isn't
it's not even what did you hear? What was in that communication? Why are you asking for the records of the communication? It's not even that. He's not denying the fact that there was an ex-parte communication. It's the fact that where he got his information from. That's really, he's focusing on that. And there are bigger issues that they should be resolving, or they should be focusing on. Yeah,
so I'm going to walk it back a little bit, because whenever I get angry at something and I get very one-sided, I try to go back and go, okay, give the best argument for the other side. Mm-hmm. So it's very clear that what had happened is little Woody was causing a problem, which was he said he was going to testify. They got him there to testify, and then he goes, oh my gosh, Young Thug's
He's
scary.
Allegedly the one who he's the whistleblower.
Oh, he's the alleged whistleblower.
Yes.
But then he goes, oh, I'm not going to testify. Mm-hmm. And it's day 88 of this trial. So the judge, I imagine, is very frustrated. So I'm looking from the judge's perspective of what's going on here and going, what the heck is going on? So they pull him back into the back room. I don't imagine this judge was like, "Oh, I want a mistrial right now, and so I'm not going to tell the defense." I think it was more of probably he's frustrated, like you're supposed to be testifying right now.
Yeah.
And so I imagine what went down. Judge wasn't thinking, and because he wasn't thinking, what was going on was he started talking to this guy, explaining to him, "I can hold you in contempt."
Yeah.
You know, and judges can threaten. When you plead the fifth, this is something that people just don't understand. You plead the fifth. If you are given immunity, you still have to testify.
But then, Taylor, the people don't also understand. They think that if you're given immunity, you're immune. There are different kinds, levels of immunities. There's state level, there's federal level, there's transactional, there's the whole thing cannot be used against you. There are levels of immunity. And we don't really know what's happening here, what kind of immunity was given to him,
So,
and things like
so
that.
what should have happened then? Like, so let's say you're put in that situation. You're little Woody, and you're in the back with this prosecutor and this judge, and they're telling you all this. What do you do? What would you do if you were sitting in his spot?
I mean, I might just testify. Honestly, I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And if you get held in contempt, you can go to jail.
Yeah. So, but I think the first thing, of course, everything's kind of gone unhinged here, but it was the judge should have realized little Woody needs counsel. I need to have his attorney or get him an attorney in here with him. So that attorney can then tell him what this means, educate him on things. Now, if hopefully the judge would have realized also.
He was there.
But the judge hopefully should have also realized the defense on the young thug's attorney should be in here.
Exactly.
And the other ones should be in here. But that being said, so I want to go back from the judge's perspective. So this all lays out. He hasn't. I think still went a little overboard with his motion when he was going there, going, "You coerced him, and you did all this stuff," saying allegedly you did all this. I need the transcript.
That's why he's asking for the transcript, because what he was told is that he was threatened.
Yeah.
To be held in contempt. There's a difference. There's a fine line between being held in contempt, being subpoenaed to testify, and refusing to testify, and being held in contempt, and being forced to testify.
Yeah.
So I don't hold you in contempt.
Yeah, and there's
a difference.
Procedural processes that needed to go through, which Steele had a right to do. So my perspective of what happened with the judge is the judge was like, I was probably thinking in the back of my mind, I was just educating him what's going to happen. Not thinking it's a big deal. But then in that moment realizing, oh crap, I made a huge mistake. We're day 88 on this trial, and I just may have caused the mistrial of the whole thing, and getting very upset now and going, I want to know who told you this.
Yeah.
Which was the wrong move.
Wrong move. You never ask the source unless you're hiding something.
Yes.
That's just my perspective. I don't know how litigations are usually.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But that's not your first question.
Well,
your first question is why?
Yeah.
Why are you asking for transcripts?
Yes. And then, your motion, I've gone through your motion, all right? And if you're the judge, you give up the transcripts.
Yeah.
Because
exactly. If you didn't do anything wrong, just give it up.
Yeah, because it's at the end of the day. But
and then you can just make it inadmissible. Because why? Because the source is not proper. You can do that, right?
But this is like a clear example of what happens with people when you lose rationality and objective position. Because you can clearly see what's happening now with the judge is he's not being objective anymore.
Not anymore.
He's protecting himself, and he starts making mistake after mistake, which is the next mistake that he makes, which I think is a huge error, almost should be kicked off of being a judge because of it. So what happens next?
He proceeds with the trial.
He proceeds with the trial, but what does he do to Steele?
Contempt.
What does that mean?
He was held in. He was sent to. He was sent to serve prison time for 10 weeks, 10 weekends,
Yeah.
10 weekends.
So he now has to sit in jail. Luckily, the prosecutor jumped in and said, "Hey, we can't continue this trial without Young Thug's attorney." Like,
They did, yeah,
and
she did, and she doesn't want a mistrial for sure.
Yeah.
That's why she did that.
and so that all got rectified. But now that happens, and we won't go into this video. But what ends up happening, you can go out and watch it. But then there's a group of Georgia criminal defense attorneys that come to protect one of their own because, I mean, can you imagine you go to work and do your job and then someone at your job has the power to put you in a jail cell
Yeah,
Because
for
you-
doing your job.
for doing your job because they don't like how you did it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what happens, and it's terrifying, and people don't realize this about criminal defense attorneys. Criminal defense attorneys have to face this problem that a judge might lose rationality and do this. That's why judges are not supposed to throw people in jail on contempt unless it's a severe,
necessary.
absolutely necessary. You're not giving me the little question I have. So let's go to the next part. So what happens with this? What's her name?
Attorney Merchant.
Yeah, she's super famous now. She's she's gonna be like the most famous attorney in America now because of the Trump trial and this.
And this. Yeah, she's good.
She's really good. Like watching that, I was like, holy crap!
I was watching. I was like, I want to be like her.
It's like, if I got in trouble in Georgia, that's the lady I'm calling
Yeah,
because she can argue. So,
can't argue.
so what happens? She comes in, storms into that court with emotion.
She comes in with documents on hand. She's like, we can't proceed, and since this is indirect contempt, criminal contempt, you need hearing. You can't be the judge. You have to transfer it to another judge. There needs to be due process. There needs to be this and this and that. You know,
Absolutely correct.
absolutely correct. Yes. And you know what the judge said? I already gave him due process. I gave him from this time to tell me to answer my question, and he still didn't.
It's like he's lost all rationality in that
Is that
moment.
due process? I went to
I can be the
to
judge
law
here.
schools, and I'm pretty sure that's not due process.
The prosecutor, so he's the prosecutor, and apparently he gets to create the law because, so he gets to be everything in that moment, and it's like, no, you don't get to be everything.
Yeah.
You have to step down now.
Yeah.
But it's weird, he doesn't. You would think as a judge, you would go, whoa, this has gone too far.
Yeah.
You're right. I need to step down as a judge, and we have another judge doing this.
He didn't.
Why? Why do you think that? What's going in the back of his mind?
I don't know. He's just going crazy for sure. I know what's gonna happen.
He's made a mistake,
He did.
and he's trying to cover his tracks.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying he may have misstepped in the process. I think he's had missteps during the process, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not even saying that the communication with the other party was wrong. I'm just saying how he dealt with it and how he responded to the motion was just
Yeah, well, it's really bad because, one, it's really bad because now the whole, like, people
Everyone
who
thinks.
aren't attorneys are watching this going, wait, judges can just take your criminal defense attorney and throw them in jail? Judges can haul people in back rooms and talk to people and threaten them with going to jail if they don't do what he says?
exactly.
And it's like they're not supposed to do that. And so it looks really bad because I don't know why the heck this is being recorded for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
But now the whole world sees it and you lose faith in the process. There's just no way that this is going to survive an appeal.
And to make it worse, they didn't deny it.
Yeah.
They didn't deny it.
Yeah, he's never denied it through the whole process of everything. Like, and that's because I don't think, well, in all honesty, it's that it did happen.
It did happen.
It probably wasn't as bad as what's being alleged. It probably was more the judge just telling Little Woody, it's going to be my favorite.
Little Woody.
Little Woody, hey, buddy, you're going to go to jail if you don't testify like you said you were going to. You can't hide behind this. But Little Woody also had a right of an attorney to, one, be present to go, hey, he does not have complete immunity. Therefore, you can't coerce him to testify. If that was the case. I don't know. I don't know all the little details. But, okay. So we're there. That happens. We're now on appeal. So basically, that's...
Yeah, in the Court of Appeals for his contempt. And usually
Steele's contempt.
they said that usually they resolve it within a day or two. So we should hear what's going to happen. I don't know if it's...
Gosh, if it all comes down that they're like, nah, judges can do this. Boom, man. Like, people will be freaking out.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to talk about people demanding a law change. Like, you can have any judges.
Well, it's election time. It's time to show off, guys.
We gotta make one, though. I don't know what you'd say. But that is, as an attorney, and I want to give people a sense of understanding this. It is terrifying to be in front of a judge, and when you're an attorney.
I never litigate.
Yeah, so when you're standing in front of a judge and you're trying to argue your point and the judge is like coming back at you inappropriately, it's terrifying. It gets even more terrifying when you get held in contempt, because you get held in criminal contempt, you can lose your law license. So your whole livelihood now is put on hold. So you're trying to think of what you're going to do, but good job to Steele. He didn't bend. And he's sitting in jail right now. The guy deserves every bit of the respect that all attorneys should give to another attorney for.
Now he's a superhero.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I don't know if, like, I wish, you always wish that you would be that type of an attorney.
Always.
But until you're put in that situation, you never know what you will really do. And I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm hoping that I would be that type of a person to go, hey, I mean, eventually, of course, Steele should reveal the source if he had a motion, it was heard by another judge, another judge goes, you don't have attorney-client privilege in this situation. No, then he could testify. But he did the right thing in the right situation, which is to not reveal his source. Because clearly it looks like what the judge is trying to do is do some retribution in some way to that individual. And
he's actually transferring the limelight to who supplied that information.
Yeah.
Instead of what information was actually supplied.
Exactly. And that's not...
And it's not...
This is why we owe criminal defense attorneys a ton of respect. We praise prosecutors all the time. And we say, oh, criminal defense attorneys, they're
sharks.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't think you guys understand now. The criminal defense attorneys are the ones that hold back this kind of inappropriate behavior. And they're the ones that have to deal with it. And so kudos to Steele and to all those Georgia Fulton County criminal defense attorneys. I don't know how you guys do it. It's because it's impressive. Like, dealing with that court system, it is pretty messed up. It's kind of strange how crazy that is. But those guys are, I'm impressed with all of them. I've even watched the other attorneys, and they're all impressive.
They're all good. Yeah. I was impressed by everyone except, I'm not going to name names, but except one.
Except for one, yeah. Well, not everybody is a superhero.
Yeah.
If we were all, then it wouldn't be impressive. Okay. All right. We'll wrap it up. That is our young thug
reaction.
But it really should be Little Woody. Because,
Little Woody.
because he has the better name. All right. This is to you, Little Woody.